put the trample on the same thing that you put the Howler buff on. Ooh, and the Howler, man. And that's crazy with the Inti, obviously. Jabammy, Jaboomy. Create an Octo, Flocto. So, yeah, we do this, right? You cycle. Okay. Boom. A bam. And we will cycle this. A boom. A bam. And they die. Because they only have 4 toughness, and we're good. So, beautiful. You'll love to see it. It's just like really, really good synergy. I think that the Gastal really, really makes this work. Alright, so yet another person claiming to have solved the Izzit discard. It's a good deck. It's a good deck is what I'll say right away. And I think there's some cute inclusions that I have here. I did a lot of testing sort of all day. And I wanted to get the video out as soon as possible. I even tried like a Grixis build. I might end up following through with that once I refine it a little bit. Might be the next video. So thanks for being here. I'll talk very quickly about the deck. And I have a sideboard here for the best of 3ers out there, which I'll cover in a moment. But for right now, move my mouse. And I want to just quickly say that like the deck needs to be aggro. Like if you try to go like mid-range control, it just becomes awkward. Like, it becomes awkward. I think the opponent has too much time to either find, like, a really big board wipe or some super high-value creature like an Atali or something, and then you can't really power through. I noticed that the trample is very, very important with this deck, because obviously, like, you're trying to grow your creatures, but, you know, it won't translate to enough damage fast enough unless you have the trample. So there's a few cards, obviously, to facilitate that. And then I have like a spicy Leyline X inclusion, which I'll talk about in a second, but that's not really important. The real important pieces are actually older cards, but let's cover the newer cards first for those who haven't seen them. So obviously the Mako, many of you know by now, right? This can get huge. Now, the really cool upside about these newer cards is like they have cycling themselves. So if you get them later in the game, they're not too bad. And I think that this is a really good one-drop. And the other one-drop that I have is actually Greasewrench Goblin. I think this is better than a lot of people think. I haven't seen anyone really include this as, at least as a 4-of for sure. But I think that just like having another, you know, it's a 2/1, which is good, right? Savannah Lions. And then that upside of being able to discard up to 2 cards is pretty damn good, right? Because that's 2 counters on your Mako and 2 counters on your Scrounging Skyray. It also just represents like another play, like a turn 3 play. And this guy does get bigger himself. All of a sudden he's a 3/2. So they do have to like commit a blocker to this guy, or else he's going to get him for some damage. And then obviously one of your larger guys is going to get him for some big trample stuff. So yeah, the Skyray is really good. It has flying. And then as far as the newer cards, I think, of course, Gastal Thrillroller. This guy is like really good, dude. This is a really good card. I don't think some people have sort of wrote this off, but like, no, this is going to be a really, really good card for this deck. Going forward, if it becomes, you know, if it stays relevant rather. And the crew too is not that hard. Like pretty much all of our creatures can crew to it, especially after they get at least 1 counter. Yeah, if any of our there's no creature that can't crew it. They get 1 counter, obviously. So the trample is just so good in combination with Inti. But let me cover one more card before I get to that. Now, the other thing is like this, you can just bring it back. And all of a sudden that trample damage later in the game, when you actually have another creature swinging that does get trample from your Inti, there's just 2 trample guys swinging. They're all getting bigger. Maybe you have a Mako with 3 counters on him. He's a 4/4 all of a sudden. It's just a lot of damage. And obviously the flyers they have to kind of deal with. The other flyer too, I guess while I'm here, is Malcolm the Alluring Scoundrel. This is actually really, really good. Of course, this happens on combat damage, so you won't like get the buff before your other creatures do the damage, but it is just that good, being that it's a flyer and it's just a continuous thing, right? It's not just like an instance of one cycling, for example. Now, the Binding of Endurance is great. It's super powerful. I think the right deck can obviously take advantage of this, but I don't know if it's this deck exactly, because I think it just wants to be faster, right? Of course, having the opponent lose 3 life is really saucy, but it's not like creature, you know, we're just sort of trying to flood out creatures, just sort of like have at least 1 or 2 creatures at all times, and there is a lot of removal, obviously. So I think this is just a little slow. A powerful card, but not quite what we need. But I think 1 is totally fine. So I actually went with Broadside Barrage here, which is kind of cute because it can, first of all, it takes out Shoulder Roots. That's nice. But the filter effect is obviously really good, synergizing very, very well, as well as removing something. So I think this is very justified, in my opinion. And of course, we talked about Gastal, and then we have Brass's Tunnel Grinder, which I really like this because you can do any number of cards. And as you'll notice, right, 1 or more cards, but that many counters, and then put that many counters. So you could almost discard your whole hand and put like 3 or 4 counters on your guys, which could be pretty massive. The eventual flip over isn't too important, but I think this is good enough, given that flexibility. And since it's a legendary, I'm just going 1, and we don't really need more than 1 anyway, because we are playing Kiora. So Kiora is obviously super good because it's a 3/2. They have to sort of commit a blocker to it, or else taking 3 to the dome. Eventually, you can make that octopus. I think we do in the video today. And yeah, it's just a great filter effect, getting rid of those extra lands that you don't need while growing your guys and finding more sauce, right? Excuse me, I had the weirdest coughing fit a moment ago. So I guess, yeah, the last card that's new that I forgot to talk about first is Howler. I think this is a great top end of the curve. Some people have been saying maybe not, but like, it has Ward 2, pay 2 life. It's kind of hard to get rid of. And at that point in the game, they have to either devote a whole turn and have like a perfect, answer, or you're just buffing a huge amount. And the thing about it is, like, when you're buffing a huge amount, as you've probably seen from other people, like Inti then putting Trample on that same guy, you're just getting him for like so much damage, right? And maybe Inti puts his Trample on maybe your Mako or whatever. Well, your Gastal gets in with its Trample damage. Maybe Gastal takes the Howler buff. So you have a 6/2 at the very least with Trample, and then maybe Inti makes your Mako a 5/5 with Trample. So you can understand that this is a lot of damage, especially given that you have flyers also likely getting the damage. And the fact that you get to draw cards is really crazy. It does need to be said, too, there is some pretty cute synergy with like Fear of Missing Out. If you do get that Delirium, we are playing the Monument and the Leyline Axe as artifacts. And then we do have like some instants and stuff like Into the Flood Maw, which is really good, just clearing the way a little bit. If they have like an annoying blocker, you could also like return like an Unholy Annex if you really need to, right? While giving them a fish, a Spell Pierce, because I'll keep them on their toes, and this will save you when you least expect it. So that's pretty cool. So the Delirium isn't like impossible to get to. But yeah, if you get that extra combat phase while you're connecting with a huge guy, while you're drawing cards each turn, that's pretty nice. Because you can always pitch a land with your Surveil lands, because we have 3 in the deck. So the other thing about Leyline Axe, right? This is obviously great if you get it in your opening hand. Super great. If you don't, you just pitch it and you don't mind that. And it will work towards your Delirium, as I just was saying. But it's just like, it's not like in most decks where it's like, damn, now I have to actually hard cast this and then equip it. You could just get rid of it and not deal with it. But it is another answer for Trample. And obviously the double strike Trample, what's that card? Evercleave, right? So pretty crazy given how big our dudes can get. And again, Gastal, so good, I swear. Because it just needs to be answered, and it's not a creature half the time, unless you're crewing it, right? So that's pretty cool. So I think that we're running 23 lands. I do recommend getting 4 of these as soon as you can. The new, whatever these are called. And you just slightly lean towards red, but pretty even down the middle. So I guess we'll talk about the sideboard. So for the sideboard, I mean, it does, it's a very aggressive deck, obviously. So I think we sort of obviously lean towards the lower end of the curve for the sideboard as well. Now, sometimes you'll need, like, more counters. So Phantom Interference, great. Spell Pierce, great. These can be good. You could go for some harder counters that they can't pay to avoid, right? Like, which could be good. But I think just having the option of having both of these could be pretty nice. But I'm not 100% sure. You could go with more Into the Flood Maws, which I do have 1 more here. Now, Torch to Tower can be pretty good. You could sideboard out like 2 of their Greasewrench Goblins. For maybe 2 Torch to Towers in that type of matchup, which could be very, very good. Oh, I just realized let's move this down. How do I move? Okay, so there's 3 Torch of Towers, and 1 is the Flood Bomb. But yeah, I don't know why. Why is that like that? That bugs me so much. But anywho, we also have Sky Crash. So Sky Crash is a very, very good card because there are so many artifacts right now, and it is a cycle 1 effect. So you really don't feel bad sideboarding this in. Maybe sometimes, even if there really isn't too many artifacts at all, you know, you'd probably refrain if they just were playing 0. But it is almost good enough to just kind of throw it in there, right? Because we're not going to worry too much. But yeah, I think Sky Crash is a great little addition from the set as well. And 2 more Broadside Barrages, because sometimes like you're against a shoulder deck, so you want to take those out, as well as just, again, being more removal. So this in combination with your Torch Towers can be pretty good. You don't probably need 3 Spell Pierces as I'm looking at it, but you never know, right? And I think that just like having those earlier plays, right, as your creatures start to grow, like turn 4 or 5, you should be able to like get in some like closing damage or get very, very close to, and then maybe like 1 more creature connecting the turn after will probably end it for sure. But I think, yeah, I think you could maybe do, you know, you could maybe just add 4 into the Flood Moths in your main board and maybe even take out the Spell Pierce because you just really want your creatures to connect. But I don't know. I think Spell Pierce is just really, really good, obviously, for 1 mana. So, I don't know. So, I think you can maybe add, like, 1 more big... You could add, like, a 4th Captain Howler, perhaps, because it is that synergistic with what we're trying to do, again, with the trample and stuff. So, it's just something to consider. I don't have another one, so that's kind of what I ended up on. But I think that it is a pretty good sideboard, all things considered. And that's kind of just what I have for you today. I think that the deck is really fun to play, right? The micro decisions of like, do I want Inti to, you know, do its thing? Like, do you want to discard your card for the chance of getting something better? Or, you know, maybe you lay your land to cast this Inti and then you exile a land off the top, but you needed that land kind of thing. But this does help you not flood, as well as with the potential of getting card advantage. Well, more relevant card advantage, rather. So pretty good, right? You just have like a lot of good 2-drops here that just like do good work, that sort of get your stuff going. This has a nice just exhaust ability. This can obviously get huge, and these 2 guys have cycling themselves. So by the time you're like Gastaline and Kioring, you're really in a pretty good position. And you know, we don't have like too much interaction, but again, it's a pretty straightforward aggro deck that just sort of wants to trample over without monstrous rage, for example. So I just had the craziest coughing fit, guys. I can feel it again. So I will try to end the video here. But if you're new around here, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. I'm a small channel, and it sucks to get this deck out later. As opposed to the people that got to do it a week early. And also, I do have a pretty cool Grixis version of this coming out very soon. I have the idea. I just need like 1 more thing to make it viable. I didn't feel really comfortable showing it quite yet. So I hope you enjoyed the games today. I have 2 best of 3s or more. I might put a clip of some other game as well. I probably did that in the intro. Who knows? But glad I got this out when you can. I also make a ton of shorts. If you're interested in the shorts, you know, you can watch them all almost in one sitting kind of thing. So maybe check those out. And again, I do appreciate you being here. So good luck on the arena. Good luck if you try this deck. If you want to save some of your rares, you know, I think 3 is kind of a magic number for this. You could probably avoid the endurance. If you don't have Intis, Inti is important. He is important for this. You could probably get away with not running the fear of missing outs, and you could run more interaction. You know, Greasewrench I think is pretty good. Some people don't. It also sort of depends on what the meta ends up being. But hey, that's kind of what I got for you, man. And I also think Leyline, you're never going to feel too bad because you're just going to pitch this if you don't get it in your opening hand. So that's cute, right? So fun stuff. Get your lands unlocked. Get 4 of those bad boys, and you'll feel pretty good. So I love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace. All right, guys, let's get a dub with our discard deck. Let's play first. Yes, sir. We like this hand, man. We do. We got the Mako here. Inti and Malcolm are the 2-drops you'll want to see. So, yeah. I've done a Grixis build. Do I want this? Sure. It's not the worst thing in the world. You could try to surveil a bunch of stuff. Right, put the land in the bin so that maybe the fear of missing out could be closer to Delirium, and also the Kiora, right, getting that 7 card threshold to make it Kraken, but we'll just keep it for now, I think. Now, I like the idea of flashing out Malcolm here because we'll avoid a cut down that they may have been holding. They may tap out for a 2-drop. Looks like they don't, though. That's fine because it does clear the way here. They don't have nothing. Or they have nothing. So that's really good. Part of me thinks you lay the Mako and just whatever we exile, we're not going to be able to lay. But you could try to like get the land off the top there. But I think it's really cute if you we'll get rid of the Flood, even though the Flood could be really good, hopefully. Or not hopefully, but sometimes. Yeah, we'll discard that. Okay. Right, so the Howler, unfortunately, got wasted. But we have 2 more in the deck. And the Howler is obviously really, really strong. So let's see what we can do with that. They can't swing. Well, if they can. But we block. Well, do we even block? I don't think we do, actually, now, because we just give them the treasures. Okay. So you endure. You swing with all. We will get rid of this Inti, because you could just cycle this, which could be really, really good. I think drawing the card. Well, they're at 17. Well, we're going to end up doing both anyway, but put this here so that we survive. Okay. We hit the land, but it's a island, but that's better than nothing. Oh, no, we already lit a land. My brain is scattered. Okay. So they get their treasures. Draw the card. Okay. Yeah, we didn't lay the land. Whoops. I've had quite the day. Did anyone else get screwed over? So I woke up at like 4 and I went on the arena and it said like 7 or 8 hours until the pre-orders stopped working and then or were unavailable. And then like 2 hours later I logged back on and the update happened, or I guess it was like 4 hours, but it was not 7 or 8 hours. So then the update happened and I couldn't pre-order anymore. And it was my mistake for waiting too long. That really sucked because I missed out on like 5 free packs plus the wild card packs or whatever the hell they are. So I'm just like a little bummed by that because it's like, I did the math. It's at least like 6 rares from Aetherdrift and then like some more from other sets that I missed out on. That sucked. And then, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Who cares anyway? I'm just blabbing. So that seems good. Right? So you swing with all. You just go big here, right? Let's get rid of that. Even though that's really, really strong. We could just go for the flying damage. But no, you just go for this damage. Right? I guess we draw the card. And yeah, you put the trample on the same thing that you put the Howler buff on. And then you just, that's just like so much. So they have to double block that. This is going to connect. Oh. Wait, they lose, right? What? Okay. Good game. Yeah, I was going to say, like, because then we do 3 more damage with Malcolm with the endurance. So, but hey, hell yeah, dude. Okay, so that was good. 11 in my head. All right, so pretty interesting deck that we just went against. I think that what we have is pretty solid. We could maybe like go for some counter spells, but I don't think it's like completely necessary by any means. I think what we have is fine. They didn't seem to be playing any artifacts. This is like obviously really good though because the cycling 1 is like nice as hell, to be honest. I think we just keep it like how we had it. We could, yeah, we'll just keep it how we had it, because like you could add a torch, maybe take out like a Greasewrench, but like I don't think it's necessary, to be honest with you. I think it's just a good matchup. So, all right, so let's keep this hand for sure. Mako and Malcolm. We also have the Skyray. Actually, it's probably what we're gonna like first, to be honest with you. So we'll take damage here, but that's fine. Yeah, we didn't really. I don't really know. I think the opponent was playing like some weird soul tie ramp thing. I think we just laid this as a creature, and we start growing both of them at the same time. They might remove one of them, but both represent a lot of damage. So let's see here, folks. That's right, it was a gold vein that they laid earlier too. Yeah, so we're not going to give them the treasures though. This time, maybe. Okay. So the Kiora is obviously really, really strong. You could Inti here and then try to go for about... No, I think you just Kiora, just in case you hit something whack with the Inti. We'll get rid of the second Inti and the land. We're not really going to need it. Right? So boom, these are already like massive. Now we could avoid giving them the treasures this turn. In fact, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to swing with the flyer. Because like, we could just block now. And it's one more turn off for them in terms of mana. So yeah, they're just trying to ramp and do like big things in this deck. So. Okay. Then Inti obviously is crazy. Inti is like a very, very important card in this deck because of the trample, as well as just giving us some ways of like card advantaging ourselves. It is sort of a risk though. So actually, I have always thought that Inti is like a really well designed card in my opinion. Okay. So I think like there's the option of laying the Kiora, but no, that'd be kind of redonkulous in my opinion. So I think you just do this. And I think we just like continue with our flyer strat. I don't really again want to give them the mana. So yeah, dude. The Greasewrench is really good. I swear by it. But in this case, we're getting rid of it. And we do hit a land. So that's actually really dope. It also is a surveil land. So 1 second. So the Mako is like really, really good. We have a land and just creatures for our fear of missing out. The question is like, do we want this? We could just cycle it, which actually isn't too bad whatsoever. But I think we'll just pitch it and we look for like Howler or something a little bit more relevant. And it's also one more card in the bin for Kiora, right? This is already at 5. It's already on the table. So, okay. So I think we keep our big flyer, right? You just keep your big flyer. I think that makes the most sense. Yeah, for sure. That's good, though. That's cool that they're playing, like, Rush of Dread. This is a cool deck. I respect it. Let's Kiora and see what we hit. Okay. So Leyline Axe is awesome if you get in your opening hand, but like for right now, nah. And Fear is obviously really, really good. But, well, Fear is actually... No, I'd rather have the Inti. They might just end up blowing our stuff up. But I think, like, right, we just, like, get in this crazy-ass damage like this. Yeah, I think we just do. Alright, because now they're at 2. Which is kind of nuts. So they kind of have to destroy... They have to do a lot here. Yeah, that's a desperate play if I've seen it. Yeah, so we just got him. That's just it. That is just it, my dude. All right. Yeah, dude, the deck's really good. Oh, and the Howler, man. And that's crazy with the Inti, obviously. Jabami, Jaboomy. Create an Octo, make Flockdo. Oh, I just realized. Okay, yeah, so no flying blocker. I just realized we don't have a card to discard. Which was a little bit of a mistake, but I just like saw Howler and got excited. But we win. Alright, cool. So the deck's like really strong. It's like really good. You have to sort of like lean into the full aggro, I think. I don't think you want to go like mid-range stuff. Unless you consider like 3 and 4 drops mid-range. I don't really. I think if there's just like a nice little curve ending, and they synergize very, very well, so I think it still fits the aggro mold. But yeah, that was pretty good. Let's get into one more. I think I had a crazy day, so but yeah, one more should be good for you guys. So all right, so let's get into another game. We'll play first. Def McLef. Interesting. This is interesting because it's okay though. It's okay. We don't really need 2 Howlers, obviously, but you know, it does have Ward 2, which is probably like the best part about it. But yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking about lines here. So yeah, we'll probably pitch one of the Howlers. Unless we like top deck another land. We'll just pitch a land. Ooh, okay. But no, yeah, just do this. Let's see what we get. Oh, you have to discard first. Because we have to discard first, I think Howler, yeah. But at the same time, Greasewrench, I swear by Greasewrench, I really do. But at the same time, nah. Yeah, because we might, like, they might have to, like, go all out to, like, get rid of a Howler. We just lay another one, right? Seems good. Okay. It's good. Swing. What the hell? Pit of Offerings. That's right. That's right. So we'll see what we get here, but nah, we'll get rid of one of the Howlers. Just kidding. Gastal is so good, dude. It's so good. I swear by this. I do. I mean, the fact that it, like, it's just good. It's just good. I don't know how to explain it. Okay. Yeah, I think you just floodball this slasher away. Just like, what's up? Right? I think you just swing here. We flash out Malcolm McFlaucum, dude. And then we're in business, bro. Big business. All right, Ian, what you got for me, dude? Yeah, just a horrible day today. Sorry if I'm feeling a little low. Sorry if I seem low energy. It's a lot of weird things on my mind. Okay. That flying guy is really annoying, actually, but this has menace, right? Yeah, we're not going to block it anyway, but just for future reference. 2 blockers. Okay. Cool. So here's the thing, my dudes. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting indeed. I think that's just going to be chilling there. It's just going to be chilling there. But we could find an Inti. I don't think we swing with it quite yet. I think we just do this. I think this makes a lot of sense. We could swing with the Fear too. That's what I'm trying to decide. Or it just dies and they just connect with that. Let's err on the side of safety here. Okay, yeah, so no blocks. So yeah, Fear would have just killed itself. Okay. I don't really know what the opponent's about quite yet here. Very odd. Okay. Guess that's good because it would have removed something else instead, right? If we had swung. Side hand, double side hand. Okay. I see you. I see you. Now, if we get the mana off the top, there is a play with the Greasewrench, but I think you just Howler. That's weird. Isn't that weird? They lose? Okay. So the opponent is a silly goose. Yeah, just do this. Sure. Cool. So, alright, let's see what we can sideboard. I mean, we don't really need to change too much. We might add some Torch to the Chowers and stuff. Alright, so I think we will take out we'll take out one. Well, take out 2 Greasewrenches for 2 Torches. I think that's fine. I don't think we need the Sky Crash quite yet. Or anything like that. We could go for this to deal with like the 2/3. What is that? The Unstoppable Slasher is an option. The Monuments we showed off already a little bit. I think that this actually might be a little bit more prevalent in this matchup. So let's try that. We could add like a counter spell. I don't think we need to really though. Do we want another Flood Maw? I don't know. I think it's fine how we have it here. So let's just go. Okay, so Mako again. Getting really good luck with that. 4 mana isn't what you want to see, but should be fine. Should be fine. We have the Howler, so it's sort of okay in that regard. With our full mana. And Inti, of course, like we could just pitch one of those, maybe find something else. So it's not going to matter too much. That's the best thing about these kind of decks, to be honest, is like you can take almost like any hand. Yeah, we'll just get the Mako down. Whoops. And the Skyray off the top was actually really good, I think. Yeah, I think because I think we just lay that, especially if they don't lay any sort of board presence. Yeah, so they just slide the hand. So I think you just Skyray and then Inti. I think. And if we top deck like Kiora or the Brass Tunnel Grinder or whatever, we're in business. Sure. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. There's a couple of reasons. There's like, first of all, both of these benefit, but then like you could hit a man off the top. We would be flooded in that case, but to avoid that, players can't gain life. Interesting. So yeah, he is into here. Get rid of the Surveil is actually fine. We'll get rid of that. Because a Timely Surveil could be good. Yeah, it wouldn't have made sense to swim with the Mako unless we do that anyway. So, okay, we get rid of that Howler. We really want to top like that. So I think that ends up being pretty good for us. Surveil here. Torch, that is 3. But I think we just largely avoid it. Yeah. Giant Cindermaw, that's interesting. Were we getting life? Did they sideboard this in, or that's just in their main deck? I mean, this is a 4/3 that's actually okay, just like stat-wise. I think that line of text is just kind of random. It's kind of a random upside. I think you just slapped down Howler here, dude, to be honest, right? Yeah, you just slapped down Howler. These guys get in. I wonder if they Monstrous Rage and double the power, then shock. No, I'm just kidding. That would take 3 reds. Oh, interesting. Okay. What a weird deck. All right. Sure. Yeah, so we just win. All right. So interesting matchups here for sure, but I think you see how the deck operates for sure. And I know that like a lot of other YouTubers have already like made this deck. I kind of do hate that like some people in that program get to make the decks like a week early. It's like great, now everybody, you know, they're already big channels, and now more people are gonna see those decks first and go to them, and they're gonna continue to be big channels and become bigger. It's a little backwards, man. But all right, thank you for checking out the video. I think that like the Grixis build is, I might have in the intro put a clip of that. If not, I'm gonna try to make the deck work a little bit more. I only had like one really cool play that I thought was neat. And then most of the time it just felt like the chariot, the 4-drop chariot is like a little slow, mostly because the zombies are tapped. I don't really know why they made them come in tapped. It wouldn't have made it like busted, in my opinion, but that's the case. So let's see if I can figure out something to do with that. But I really do appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a great day. On your way out, be sure to like the video. And if you're new, sub. And I will see you on the ladder, dude. Check me out. Give me the sauce. Teach me something. And if not on the ladder, see you in the next video. Peace.